Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to episode number 16 of We're Just Talking About It. Today, we share a story about religious intolerance and how keeping an open mind could be the solution to the problem.
I want to tell you about one other gentleman I met at this conference in Virginia, it goes back to something I think we talked about on here, but I talk about it a lot in my discussions when I travel America. All too often, we assume that understanding or tolerance of other religions has something to do with where you are on the political spectrum. And I never get into politics when I have discussions, but I know in my audiences I have people that are, left, right, and center politically in America, because I know by the questions they ask me, when they shake their head or when they nod their head or when they cross their arms. I can tell by body language how they're responding. And they'll talk to me afterwards and want to get political, and I have to tell them, hey, that's nice, but I'm not interested. But the big assumption is, if you are a liberal in America, you're very tolerant of other religions, and you're very understanding of other religions. I mean, that is the kind of the go-to fact that we all think. And as we're talking about myths and stereotypes. So I'm sitting with this gentleman, we're having dinner, and having just a great talk, really getting along. Nice guy. We both come from very rural upbringings, and his family moved from Pakistan into West Virginia, right outside of a big coal mine town. And his family were in the medical industry, and he was going to be a doctor. And so they were very much accepted in this community because they were hardworking, and they had kind of come from that hard scrabble life back in their country, but they understood it, and they almost equated with the people, because this is West Virginia. Folks, you kind of think of the mountain people that live in these parts of the country, in the Appalachia, and they're just good, hardworking people, and they take care of their own. And he said, I really felt like that growing up. I didn't feel like I was the other. I didn't feel like I was the Muslim kid. I didn't feel like I was the brown kid. Everybody there was so friendly to my family, and they liked us, and we were friends with people. And he said, I moved to Virginia, to Northern Virginia, outside of D.C., and then I realized how intolerant so-called liberal people are, as I meet them every day, and they dismissively speak about my home here in America, my West Virginia home, and they call it Trump country, and they call it flyover country, and they talk about the bigots that live out there. But I hear the most bigoted things about Islam here where I live, outside of D.C., in this bubble. And then I hear how they talk about other Americans, creating an other. And it was just a fascinating conversation, because, here I am out there trying to build bridges between people. And we're talking about this self-made bridge in America where people of different political ideologies assume they have the mantle to be the most tolerant people, when it turns out, from a Muslim's point of view, they might be some of the most intolerant people. It was a real weird moment.
I feel like I could circle back to, once again, the religion and the chosen path. In politics, liberals have a chosen path. If you're not on it, you're a Republican and you're going to hell. Republicans have a chosen path. If you're a liberal, you're not on my path, you're going to hell. But no, that's a great point. It's great. I feel like everybody thinks they're on the right path. We all think maybe we have these wide views, but in reality, we don't.
Yeah, I think it's the sooner you realize you have a bias, and I try to work on that. I grew up in one mindset, but clearly I've explored in other directions when it comes to different religious thought. And you just have to check yourself. if you can't realize that you have a bias, and you can't realize that other people might have a valid point, then your life is pretty narrow.
Right.
If that's and that's fine. If you want to go that way, but don't expect people to see you as some, super kind and tolerant person. They're probably going to see you as pretty narrow and angry and hateful. And
right.
I just met so many people in that discussion with these folks that have only lived in America a few decades. None of these families had really been here much longer than the foundation of Pakistan in the 1940s. And that's when most of them came over, sometime after that. And their love for America, their love for the ideas of religious freedom, their love for tolerance of other people, really shined through. Having people come up to me after I spoke and just say, thank you. Thanks for what you're doing. I don't even get that from non-Muslim audiences sometimes. I will have non-Muslim audiences I'll have a couple say thank you. I'll have people that are angry at me that I'm even discussing this. And I'm not talking, you're probably assuming, again, these are angry conservatives that are, pro-Christian. I've had uber liberals come up to me and say horrible things about me, and I'm just stunned because when I talk to Muslim audiences, they're like, thanks for trying to build a bridge. It may not be perfect, but what you're doing may be just what we need. Just having that discussion at a simple level, in a simple way, and opening people's minds.
Well, that's what I was saying. Being open-minded. You can believe what you want to believe, and but I think you need to be open-minded. You just need to have the ability to listen and take in information and digest it and understand. You can believe what you want to believe, but I think you need to be open-minded. I think that's huge. And just in life in general, not about even religions or politics, just anything. And that makes me want to ask you, you've said people have come and listened to you speak and gone the opposite direction of your mission and your goal. Does that scare you, or are you like, at least they came and listened, or did I just increase their rage and their anger and their hate of this religion even more?
I think it bothers me. I mean, who wouldn't be bothered? You hope
Right.
everybody is listening to you and maybe learn something from it. It's going to make you feel like you failed because you didn't reach everybody in the room. But I kind of learned after the first talk, you're never going to reach everybody in the room. And I'm not there to convert people. I'm literally just trying to get them to think, to open their mind a little bit. So if they showed up, that got them to think a little bit and open their mind. And whichever way they're coming at it, if they don't think they're ever going to like a Muslim person, even if they meet them, and that's fine. If that's how they want to stay afterwards, or people who think, oh, I'm so tolerant, I understand everything about Islam, and oh, I can't believe the guy is talking about terrorism today too. How horrible that he's combining. Like, okay, if you don't want to see all the facts, that's fine, and you want to be hateful or you want to be naive, I can't help you. So when it comes to people on the extremes, I just, and I've had a lot of people tell me that, and I tell other people, they get frustrated by it. You're never going to change the mind of somebody who has an extreme view. Maybe over time they'll figure it out themselves, but you personally are not going to change their mind. They're too embedded. And I've known some white supremacists growing up in the Deep South that I've had conversations with and try to get them to, rethink life. And you know what? They may figure it out on their own over 10 decades, but I had probably had no impact other than to make them think for a moment. Right. And that might be all you can do,
Right.
just to get them think for a moment and let them go there themselves. You won't convince them. You can't feel like you're failing if you didn't convince an extremist to change their mind. It's not your job in life. It's just to be kind to people and to share ideas. That's what
Right.
you can really do.
That's it for episode number 16. As always, thanks for tuning in and engaging in the conversation, even if it's just listening. We really appreciate your time. Until next time, thanks.